Well, hello, welcome along to this session in the Sage CRM Cumulus Virtual Summit for 2021. I'm David Beard. I'm joined by my colleague Jeff.
Hello, David.
And we're talking to you today about Sage CRM 2021 and beyond, the future direction and thinking of the product by two people who have, well, most to do with that at the moment. We're going to be talking about the near future, so the current release, as well as highlighting some themes for the forthcoming years, if you like. So, Jeff, I think first of all, let's look at what we delivered for 2021 R1. Now, as you've said, this has come out of the factory in Dublin in February, and the UK and Ireland team were the first to bring it to market for their local customers. What do we want to tell people or remind people about that release, Jeff?
Well, it is a big release, and that's probably the first thing to say about it, is that we've done a lot of work in this, and that's you can tell that just by simply feeling the weight of the README file. I mean, it's a very, very big one. We've got modern authentication has been implemented to allow us to connect through to with the internal email client and the advanced mail manager to either exchange online or to Gmail. That's if you like a stronger little emphasis that we can support both of those online mail services. We've added some other great features for system administrators that I hope customers will really like. The idea of single-click customizations for lists and grids. We've got this what's called inline customization for lists and grids. We've changed the way in which we handle telephony, so we now have implemented throughout the product a click to dial link, so you can tie into whatever your favorite telephony service is within the browsers, launching Skype for Business, etc.
Right.
We've taken a huge weight off system administrators by adding in self-service recovery, password recovery for users, so that users who have forgotten their passwords can recover that password and carry on with their business. We've done other things as well, which are more on the nerdy side. So we've added in loads new RESTful API endpoints. We've probably increased that by probably about 25% of our endpoints to a much richer environment for developers to go and play and make sure they delight you, our customers.
Excellent. I want to talk to you about your increasing of endpoints in a moment, if I may. It's good news for this latest release. Let's talk more about the immediate future. Now, you and I, because we lead both the collection and correspondence with our stakeholders around the world to build the next releases, we want to be able to be sure that each of those releases both has a solid set of core CRM, making CRM as relevant as we can to as many businesses as we can to try and fulfill that message of making CRM the center of your business, whatever business you're in. But we also want to continue to open up the ability of that CRM tool to connect to everything else in a business, because, reality is you want that 360-degree view, right? And customers' data systems aren't just CRM and aren't just accounts. They can be other things as well. And you need to be able to have that ability to see through. And whether those systems exist on premise or in the cloud, it's all about making it come together, right?
Yes, absolutely. And we are very conscious of the fact that customers want to be able to work in the way that they want to work, that is suitable for their business, and want to take that journey, step into the cloud at the time that is best, optimal for that business.
Yeah.
Now, we have done quite a lot of work on cloud enablement over the last few releases. We've always been able to support virtualization. We're now, I think a couple of releases ago, we went first with Amazon Web Services. We run now on 2021 R1. We fully support Azure. And in the release that is just coming, we're going to be adding in support for features such as single sign-on and MFA, all authenticated and controlled through the Azure Active Directory aspect. And we're going to be changing other things as well, trying to uplift the product, making sure that it works in the way that people expect in terms of a modern web-based application. We're going to be looking at renewing pipeline graphics, simplifying the way in which documents like quotes and orders are merged out, control of those in terms of naming conventions. There's actually a lot of things that we're hoping to implement in this release, because we're going to be bearing in mind that we're designed to integrate with your accounting systems, integrate with other back office systems. So we've put in a lot of work for the people who we call the ISVs, the people who are working with the APIs, but we are committed to really making sure that however you slice and dice and want to integrate, we've got the tool that is ready for that.
Right. And the integration story, as you say, is particularly important because there are many, many tens of thousands of our customers around the world that have some sort of Sage accounting product, but have yet to explore the world and exciting things that CRM can bring to them, right? And so opening up those integration possibilities, either directly with our teams building integrations into accounting, 50, 100, 200, 300, those sorts of things, or as you say, the ISV partners who can bring their added expertise to produce things like mapping or mobile clients or things like that to further uplift, as you describe it, the functionality, right? So what are the broader objectives 2022? Integrations are key. I know you're going to say that, and this is the API RESTful endpoint conversation. Now that journey, if I remember correctly, to increase the APIs with REST started in 2019, right? R2, create,
2019 R2,
updates, that sort of thing. So what are the gaps and what are we looking to bring to market with the REST API in the next couple of releases?
Oh, well, in terms of the REST API and behaviors, we want to be able to make it easier to understand what's going on. So there'll be improvements in logging. We want to make sure that all of the experience for system administrators who are trying to work and maintain CRM can see easily and access logs and then be able to communicate those to support. That's really an operational thing rather than a integration thing. But from a point of view of making sure that we've got the APIs up and ready and fully integrated, we want to be able to support any of the cloud operations that are taking place. So one of the exciting changes that actually we've implemented now just in the last month is that we now have our endpoints for the RESTful endpoints documented on developer.sage.com.
Right.
Now, what does that mean for a customer? Well, not a whole lot in itself, but it does mean that Sage CRM is one, because Sage CRM is part of the growth product package. There's about 8 products that Sage identifies as growth products around the world. And Sage CRM is very much a global product. We need to be there to support the products that are on the marketplace to allow for the integrations that you need as a business to do the work that you want. That's going to include ways in which we can run within the cloud, reducing the cost footprint within the cloud as well. So that'll be things like making sure that we can support Azure SQL to reduce costs running in the cloud. I'm not promising that for the next release, but it is one of the things that we want to be able to add into the tests. We want to be able to support customers as they do that, take that journey.
Yeah.
We also, I started to hint about uplifting the product. We will be revising a whole host of aspects about the interface, simplifying it, cutting out fields that don't need to be there. We'll be taking a hard look at the navigation of the menus, seeing if they reflect best design practices. This is a journey that will go on probably over multiple releases. So we're not looking for a revolution in the interface, but we're looking at an evolution to the Sage standard. Sage has this fantastic set of standards for mobile and web development, and we're going to be following those as we go through.
Yes, and many of those changes, those UI, user interface changes, you'll see coming through the accounting products as well. So it's important for us to be following and looking similar in design, right?
Following. We are leading. If you look on the developer.sage.com, we're front and center amongst the leading products.
Right. I stand corrected. Thank you. Yes, and the carbon.sage.com is the URL if people are interested in looking at that, right? It's based on the React framework, yes?
That's right. Yes, that's not necessarily what we're going to be using in terms of our development, but that's the type of design standards that we will be following into the future.
Right.
That's
And
we're
so
aiming to follow into the
I see. So there will be products like Sage 200 in the UK, Sage 300 and 100 in the States that will be following those interface designs as
Absolutely.
well.
So there's not going to be any jarring as you move from one product to another product. We'll be making sure that people have the sense of this is a Sage product, this is a modern product, this is representing where Sage wants us to be, wherever we want to implement it, whether it's on premise, whether it's in the cloud, whether it's in a partner managed facility, or however you want to be able to deploy it.
Yes. All right. That sounds good to me. Okay. Well, I think we can bring this session to a close. You'll see refreshes of graphics and screens, the updates to the APIs, as Jeff spoke about, and ways we'll be just generally improving the interface to a product that's been around for a little bit now, and it does need a tidy up and a refresh, and we're cognizant of that. And it's all about reflecting for the users, particularly better design, better following of standards, as Jeff said, but also maximizing what you can do on the screen, whatever screen you happen to be running it on at the time, right? So it's all for us in terms of our thinking is giving our customer base better ways to emphasize what's important in their business, the way that they run their business and the best use of the devices and things like that. Perhaps even, Jeff, there's some talk of putting avatars in, wasn't there? So you and I could have our smiley faces inside it.
Absolutely. Maybe even have it. Yes, absolutely.
And yeah, so I think we'll bring it to a close. And I think it's good to remind people as well, we're always interested in hearing. And I think the best way for us directly, Jeff and I here directly, is via the Sage City platform, where users and partners can swap ideas on the forum, suggest things, as well as talking to your partner, of course, and them reflecting their ideas back up into the local product development teams in North America, Asia, South Africa, and so on. Any more from you, Mister, or shall we bring this one to a close?
No, we'll bring this one to a close. I think this is good. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening.
All right. And thanks for coming along. And we hope you enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
Bye-bye.